In this new era, one constant remains.
Sit the fuck down.
Is this trailer even real? Like, honestly, it looks so clean and so crisp. I know it's CGI, but is it real? Is this the real footage from the game? Or is there, and I'm pretty sure we'll talk about it later as we get into this trailer, but is this all deceiving footage? Is this all fake footage? What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is DJCS. Welcome to an all-new video here on my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down the new Mortal Kombat 1 video game trailer that we just got a couple days ago. Now, everybody thought it was going to be Mortal Kombat 12. It's not. It's essentially a reboot from what we get from the trailer itself, and we'll even look at some stuff that Ed Boon is talking about. It's essentially a reboot of the franchise once again, which is kind of weird considering that they rebooted the franchise 3 games ago with Mortal Kombat 9. Kind of, sort of. But let's go ahead, not waste any more time, and dive into this trailer. If you're new here, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and drop it a like. Now, as we go through this trailer, I will be pausing to talk about some things here and there, and I won't be showing the fatalities in their entirety because YouTube has been really kind of cracking down on the violence and the gore that is in this trailer. Of course, not for the actual sites that post these videos, because they wouldn't want to make, you know, IGN or Mortal Kombat or, you know, Warner Brothers angry by blocking one of their videos, but they're blocking everybody else, all the other content creators who are reacting to these videos. They're blocking their content. So not that I'm really concerned about that because I don't get monetized anyway. It's just I don't want to copyright any issues on my my videos. The last Mortal Kombat trailer I did a reaction to, the Mortal Kombat Red Band trailer for that movie that came out. I got a copyright claim on it, so hopefully I don't get a copyright claim on this. I mean, I'm actually gonna go through it at about half speed. Actually, we'll go slower than half. We'll go 0.25. So it opens up. It starts with, you know, Liu Kang. As we'll get into earlier, Ed Boon mentioned that this isn't a continuation from Mortal Kombat 11. We'll talk about that a little later, but I don't really see how that's an issue. But you can already see the definition of this trailer, the detail. I went through and slowed down a lot of the images to actually pause them and brought them into Photoshop to see if I could find anything in the eyes here, if there's any reflections. Unfortunately, I didn't really see anything. It kind of looks like, I mean, he appears to be standing out in the field, as we see later. That's kind of what you see in his reflected in his eyes. Nothing too crazy, nothing like surprising or spoilery. Jump through the credits here. And then we get to Raiden, Lord Raiden. Now, Raiden appears to be completely unpowered, but there may be something more to that. We'll talk about that here in a bit. If you remember in Mortal Kombat 11, he gave his powers essentially to Liu Kang, which made him like the fire god Liu Kang. But there is an entirely possibility that Liu Kang gave him back his powers, which we'll talk about more. Now, Liu Kang claims it's a blank canvas, so this is something that he's created in his own image, his own vision. And he says there, in my new era. If you remember in Mortal Kombat 11, they say my new era so many times. Shang Tsung claimed that it was going to be his new era. Kronika claimed that it was going to be her new era. Liu Kang claimed that it was going to be his new era. So many new era things. So if we're to not supposedly be connected to Mortal Kombat 11, and they're still claiming it's a new era, that's kind of odd. Liu Kang claims that you have a choice in this era, so he's given them free will. And here we see, again, Kung Lao, or actually we see for the first time, apologies. We see Kung Lao. Now, the question is this the great Kung Lao? Or is this the Kung Lao we saw in Mortal Kombat 9, the descendant of the great Kung Lao? And we'll get into the story of the champions and stuff later after we get through the trailer. But it's really interesting to know which Kung Lao that's going to be. Now here, is something that's interesting. The lightning in the background, yes, definitely interesting. As I mentioned before, Raiden may have his powers back. He does have the medallion on his hip here, which will actually show better later. And it's entirely possible that since Raiden gave Liu Kang his powers, to become the fire god, Liu Kang then gave Raiden back the powers of the thunder god. So it's entirely possible that once again Raiden does have his powers of a god back. Otherwise, it really wouldn't be that fun playing as Raiden in this game, right? But this is what's interesting is what Liu Kang says here. You can live in quiet serenity or bloody strife. And when he says this, that's when the lightning hits in the background. Now, if this is the whole new canvas and everybody's been given different story arcs or whatever, what if Kung Lao and Raiden are actually more like Melina and Katana, who we'll get to in a bit, but they have a jealousy. There's a jealousy involved there, where actually Raiden will turn on Kung Lao or vice versa. Because they're not looking at each other like they're friends there. Like, I believe Kung Lao was out training or meditating. I mean, he's sweating there, so he's probably training out in the early morning. And then Raiden wakes up later in the day or something like that, and they have this maybe it's a friendly competitive nature, or possibly a competitive nature of an enemy, possible enemy. And then we get our first look at this beautiful shot of Katana. You can see all the stitching and everything in the mask here, the seams. It's so beautiful. The hair, it almost looks like she's got a little bit of gray there, but that just could be lighting. And she's got all this jewelry on and stuff. We saw her fan there, obviously, when we first panned over. This piece of jewelry here in her ear. She's got a headpiece on. She's got some kind of neck jewelry as well. Could be armor, but I mean, what is that protecting? Her clavicle, like. And this is a very interesting image here. This to me is clearly Ardania. Like, this doesn't look like anything in Outworld. This doesn't look like anything in any kind of other realm I've seen other than Ardania. So what is going on here? That is the question. Like, we see that this is some kind of carriage. Now it's colored pink/purple, which would point to Melina, who's sitting right here. And in this image, you can see that she's kind of sitting up high. There's like a step here. Katana's right here, sitting on like a bench or possibly another chair. But there's a step up here, and this, when we see Melina, it looks like a throne. I mean, it's a very big seat, so it could just be another bench or a seat for two. But it definitely looks like very royal, very regal. And we get more shots like the stitching on her legs here. I'm not really sure what this rope thing is. Her size. This may be a knee pad, but also thought maybe it was some kind of headpiece that she just put on her knee for now. I mean, it looks a very odd piece for both a knee and a headpiece, but I don't really know. It kind of looks like eye slots, because you see there's a hole here and then a hole on the other side as well. And what does Liu Kang say here? To dwell in joyous prosperity or bitter rivalry. Now, we know from the history of this game that Katana and Melina are bitter rivals. Melina is jealous of Katana. Melina is a clone of Katana, which we'll get into more of that later. But she's jealous of Katana's beauty. She's jealous of the fact that Katana is the princess. She's jealous of that Katana is like the chosen one. But Melina is also a sworn, not necessarily a sworn, but she's supposed to be there to protect Katana. There's also another character there who is also supposed to be sworn to protect Katana. That's Jade, who is absent from this trailer, possibly. I did think that maybe the person steering this wagon might be Jade, but it's hard to really tell. There's really nothing that sticks out of like green or anything like that. Again, I don't really know, because we don't get a good shot at her. That could just be a random NPC for all we know, like all these other people. But it's interesting if what they're saying is that nothing in this game is what we know. These two could be friends, even though we get a good shot here of her mouth. There's no lips. It's just from the teeth to the skin, and it looks amazing. Again, the detail in the mask here, and the way my God, the way she looks at the camera here. It's like she's staring into my soul. Like, and we get a good shot of the eyes here where we could tell that they're still like slanted, like they have been, and kind of like snake eyes, but not entirely. And I'll be 100% honest with you guys. Like I said, it looks like she's staring into my soul. This is the hottest version of Melina we've had, and I know she's got teeth like Jaws, and she's crazy psycho. But
I sort of dig crazy chicks.
Yeah. Look at that. The detail, the wrinkles in the face, and just. Whew. And then we get our first look. Speaking of eyes, first look at Scorpion. Now you can see here his eyes are not white. He's not dead. He's not a specter. Is that shocking? No. So this is definitely Hanzo Hasashi, and his eyes are kind of hazel. I'd say they almost look yellow, to be honest with you, but I'd say they're hazel. And again, the detail, you can see that the skin, like I don't really know what that's called right there, but just the texture of the skin, the quality looks amazing. And this isn't even 4K. This is just 1080. Oh no, it is 1440, whatever that is. It's not 10K though, or 4K. It's just better than 1080. But my God, this logo on his back here. Now, I tried to go into Photoshop and clear this up and brighten it up and see what the hell it is. I'm going to post some pictures here as I talk about this thing. This could be many different things. Again, I couldn't really make out quite what it is, but there could be an image of a scorpion there. But that doesn't really explain what this part of it is. That this part of it almost kind of looks like a stag or a deer or something. Again, I don't really know. I'm just kind of throwing out what I see, kind of images. But also, an image that I see here is the image that we see towards the end of the trailer of Liu Kang, Fire God. Now, is that what this is? I don't know. Has Liu Kang formed some kind of super team of good guys, or again, I don't know. I'm just going with what I see here. This could be a Mortal Kombat champion medallion with somebody with their arms raised or something. Again, I don't know, and we will have to wait until the game comes out to possibly find out. And then we get our intro of Sub-Zero, with the everything freezing over with the teacup that we know that Sub-Zero likes to partake in the teas. And then we get a shot of the I can't remember what this is called. It's some kind of gardening tool. Honestly, I can't remember off the top of my head. But we see that he is back to the basic form with the tool and the rope. There's no more chain. It's less of a spear. And their costumes are very simple. But you can also see here that Scorpion also looks like he has some kind of medallion. Now, when you zoom in, it looks kind of flimsy, so maybe it's not a medallion. Maybe it's just, again, I don't really know what it is, but it's interesting to note that he looks like he has a medallion. Raiden has a medallion. What is with the medallion? Liu Kang says you can face each other as sworn enemies, but then also or united as brothers. And that's when we see them turn to see this image in the sky. But they have these little pins on their chests. And at first, I thought maybe they were the same thing. But once you zoom in, you can kind of tell that they aren't the same. Like, Scorpions has some kind of white writing on it. Or white, it could just be lighting. But it looks like it has some kind of different white design on it versus Sub-Zero's, whose doesn't. His is more just kind of plain and gold all around. Now the question is, which Sub-Zero is this? Now, if Hanzo Hasashi has not died, then that would mean that he doesn't have a quarrel with Sub-Zero. Possibly Sub-Zero, Bihan never killed his family. Maybe Hanzo doesn't even have a family in this new universe, this new era. So this could be Bihan, or it could be that Bihan died already. Maybe Bihan never existed. Maybe I can't remember his brother's name, but maybe he grew up to be the leader of the Lin Kuei instead of Bihan. So again, we won't really know until we get to the game. We're just speculating shit here. That's all we're doing with this trailer. I'm giving you my opinions. I'm giving you my thoughts. It's interesting to note that I don't really see any medallions. He's got like this piece of it's just it's not really a medallion. It's just something to hold those ropes together on his arm. No noticeable medallions on Sub-Zero, but then you get this image in the sky here. Now, at first I thought this was Shang Tsung's portal that we see at the end, but it's in the sky. So this looks more like an eclipse of some sort, and could possibly be worlds merging together, could possibly be some kind of invasion, could be... I really don't know. There's multiple things that this could be, but it's definitely something new, I want to say. But again, if it's involving, one realm invading the other, it's not necessarily new. But if it's two universes merging together, that's something that could be new. And then we see Katana and Melina both looking at it. Now, I originally thought that this was Katana standing down here and Melina inside the carriage. But that doesn't appear to be the case, because once I brighten it up here, you can see that this person standing here is wearing like purple/pink. Even though if what I think is going on here is going on, Katana would be wearing Melina's colors in support of her. And what do I think is going on? Well, going back to that first image, when they're in the carriage, there's some kind of celebration going on here. Like a wedding, almost, right? This huge celebration, or it could be what do they call it? A coronation. Maybe Melina is getting inducted as princess of Artania here. But honestly, like I said, that seems like a seat for two in there, and this could be a wedding. Possibly Melina and Baraka, possibly Melina and Shang Tsung. Who the hell, or not Shang Tsung, Shao Kahn. Who really knows? And Boom, the makers of this game obviously know, but we don't. And it leaves a lot to speculation. If Ardania is still around, what's going on in terms of like Shang Tsung, Sindel, Quan Chi, Shinnok, Baraka? It leaves a lot of questions. How was Melina created? It leaves a lot of questions, which we will get into more of later. So after they see the image in the sky, it jumps to it jumps to Fire God Liu Kang coming down with Kung Lao and Raiden, where Liu Kang claims that we will discover that there's one constant even in the new era. And that one constant that remains is Shang Tsung. One thing to note here is that Liu Kang's hair is dark. It's not like silver or gray like it was in Mortal Kombat 11. And again, I know Ed Boon said that it's not related to Mortal Kombat 11, but nonetheless, this could be because he gave Raiden back his powers, right? Now, is Raiden a god? Not necessarily, but he gave him back his powers of electricity, his control of thunder and lightning, and essentially whatnot. And in doing so, he lost his silver-colored hair and returned to the darker hair. Now, this is a much, much younger Shang Tsung than what we saw in Mortal Kombat 11. Again, Ed Boon says that these aren't related necessarily, but I think he honestly misspoke when he said that. Not necessarily misspoke, but I think he didn't necessarily mean that. It's not necessarily a direct continuation of Mortal Kombat 11. Some time has passed. Now, as I mentioned, we're not going to show the fatalities, unfortunately, because they just have YouTube has a huge issue with them. I am going to talk about them. We literally see him go through and kill almost every single person we saw in this trailer. We see Scorpion, we see Melina, we see Sub-Zero, we see Katana. The only people we don't see, we see Kung Lao getting killed in almost the exact same way he got, his soul taken. Almost like in the exact same way it got taken from him in the movie, the most recent movie, which is kind of interesting. They're paying homage to that movie. We won't talk about that movie, but if you want to see my review for it, it's up on the channel. You're welcome to go check it out. But yeah, it's interesting that they're paying homage to that movie. They're kind of throwing it back to the movie. And then we see him going up against Liu Kang. And Liu Kang puts a stop to his bullshit real quick with a quick boot to the chest.
Boy, this came. Caught him with the front. I kicked the shit out of him, man. The wind is knocked out of him. And then he screams out, "Security!"
Liu Kang is obviously not happy about Shang Tsung's presence here, and the fact that Shang Tsung is coming to challenge him. And he doesn't take too kindly. Now, I do believe that this is in the game. I'm not going to show this whole thing, but I do believe that this is in the game, and I absolutely love the lighting of this whole scene here. When the fire comes out, you can really see. Let me slow it down again. Just the lighting. The lighting in this whole trailer, really, like as soon as it comes out, you can see how it affects all the surrounding around. The reflections on the ground. The reflections on Shang Tsung, you can start to see like the fire, the orange on one side, the blue on the other, and then when it collides and picks him up in the air, once again, you can see just all that lighting, and the lighting is beautiful and amazing, and it's just, this game is going to be awesome, and I cannot wait to play it. Again, you can see the lighting on Liu Kang here as he's in the air, orange on one side, blue on the other. This game looks, again, I know it's all CG. And as I mentioned before, this could not even be real. This whole trailer could be complete bullshit, you know? Which is one thing I want to talk about. The fatalities, okay? That's pretty much it for the trailer. So, the fatalities. I don't think any of those fatalities are going to be actually part of the game. The story mode, anyway. I think those are taken from the actual, like, fighting mode part of it. And, like, they just wanted to show off all the characters in the game. They wanted to show off Shang Tsung doing some stuff. Shang Tsung, as we see at the end of the trailer here, is the pre-order bonus. Shang Tsung may not be in the story for very long. What we see with Liu Kang doing the dragon thing may be the end of Shang Tsung in the game. You know what I mean? There's plenty of other villains who could be in this game, who could be the big bad. As I mentioned before, we've got Shao Kahn. We've got Sindel, we've got Shinnok, we've got Quan Chi, and Ornaga, I think his name is. I kind of missed out on the whole 3D era, so I don't really know much about him, to be perfectly honest with you. The big dragon dude, he could be there, and it all depends really on when this game takes place. Now, when we had the image of Scorpion and Sub-Zero together, we saw lights. So that means that there's electricity, you know, so it's not like ancient, you know, 1800s, 1700s, whenever, 1400s, long time ago. But if it's the great Kung Lao and not Kung Lao, then that would mean that it was like 500 years ago, I think it is, because, so as I mentioned, we're going to talk about the history of the champions. Shang Tsung was the original victor of the Earth Realm tournaments, right? So after they took over Ardania with Shao Kahn, they focused their attention on Earth Realm. I think Earth Realm was like the last realm they needed to conquer. They conquered so many others. Shang Tsung was the champion for 9 tournaments. They have to win 10. And because of that, you're essentially immortal. Every 50 years, there's a tournament. So for like 500 years, he was the champion until the great Kung Lao came around. The great Kung Lao beat him, I believe with the help of Raiden, with the training of Raiden. And then I'm not entirely sure on that. If I'm wrong, please correct me down in the comments. And then the Great Kung Lao was champion for, I believe, only one tournament. Because after he won that tournament, he was alive for 50 years. He was granted immortality. The next tournament, he faced Goro. Possibly with some shadiness from Shang Tsung, Goro became the champion, and he was champion for another 9 tournaments. Until Liu Kang. Then Liu Kang became the champion. So depending on when this takes place, it could be 500 years before the first game, or it could be the first game. What will really help us, I mean, we already know that Johnny Cage is in the game. That was shown on one of the websites when they showed all the characters who were going to be in the game. We know that Sonya Blade is going to be in the game. So those are really Mortal Kombat 1 characters. Liu Kang, I mean, we can't really include Liu Kang because this is Fire God Liu Kang, so he's kind of out of the equation. Raiden is a god, so he would have been alive at the time of the Great Kung Lao Mortal Kombat victory, and I feel like everybody else would have been alive. Kitana is thousands of years old. Melina is thousands of years old. Shang Tsung, Sindel, again, Quan Chi, Shinnok, all these people, they're all thousands of years old. And Scorpion and Sub-Zero, you know, I don't really know when their whole beef, what time period their beef went down, but Sub-Zero killed Scorpion. Scorpion went to the Netherrealm, came back as a Spectre. So again, there's lots of time gaps involved there where this could take place in the past, but it could also take place in the time of Mortal Kombat, the first game, first Mortal Kombat. Which I don't really know when that's supposed to have taken place. If you want to say the 1990s, sure, I don't really know, but it's a reset to the entire franchise, which is kind of odd. I don't really know what other characters we're going to see in the game. In fact, I would like to know if you have a particular character you would like to see added as a combo, a combat pack that they add later, like, you know, how they've added Rambo, Schwarzenegger, RoboCop, Jason, you know, Joker, all these other things. Who would you like to see added to this game as a fighter? Not necessarily in the story, but as a fighter. I've heard rumors like Homelander and Peacemaker, which would kind of make sense for Peacemaker since he's a Warner Brothers property. That would make sense. But Homelander, I don't, you know, that's a different franchise. It's a different like ownership, so I don't really know how they go about that. But nonetheless, who would you like to see added to this game as a fighter? But we know, like I said, from these posts that we're going to have cameo fighters, which basically is somebody who, as you're fighting, will jump in and assist you. They won't be a playable character. They will just jump in, do a couple moves, add to your combo maybe, and then jump out. So it's not like Marvel vs. Capcom where you could switch in and out to your different characters. They will simply jump in and then take off. They will not be playable characters. And I've seen a lot of people who are stressed over the fact that maybe their favorite character is going to end up as a cameo character. And that's entirely possible, like, you know, Rain or Shiva or Goro, or, you know, insert Motaro, insert, you know, D-level character. I don't want to say like a lot of these people are D-level characters, but maybe a lot of people from the 3D realm people are kind of fans are, but not entirely fans of. They may be cameo characters. I can almost rest assure you that your main character, like a Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Liu Kang, Kung Lao, Raiden, Melina, Kitana, Sonya, and Johnny Cage are all going to be playable characters. Now, who else is going to be in this game? Again, it really depends on what the time frame is. We're almost guaranteed that Baraka is going to be in the game, because if Melina exists, therefore the Tarkatans have to exist, and therefore Baraka should exist, right? Possibly. Who knows? Shang Tsung, which we've seen. Will we get to play as him in the story mode? Don't know. He's a pre-order bonus, so possibly not. Shao Kahn should be alive in some form, some way. Sindel should be alive. There would be no reason for her to be dead, really. Maybe Shao Kahn, Sindel, Kitana, Melina all have a happy life of some sort, like a big family. Maybe Shao Kahn never invaded Ardania, and Sindel is still married to Kitana's father. Again, don't really know. But again, these are the characters that we could see. We could see Quan Chi, Shinnok, as I mentioned before, the whole Titans or whatever they were, like Kronika and those other two characters whose names I can't think of right now. They still exist as far as I know. I know like Liu Kang is Kronika's position now, but those beings still exist in some way, shape, or form. They kind of have to, right? What people we might not see? Noob Saibot. Because if Bihan is Sub-Zero, then there's no way for him to become Noob Saibot. Spectre Scorpion, we may never see him do fire or, you know, remove his mask and he's got a skull or something. Because if he never dies, then that never happens. We might not see Bihan's little brother, again, whose name I can't remember right now, unless that is Bihan's little brother. We may never see Cyrax or Sector or any of those robot forms of the Lin Kuei. We should possibly see Jade, I would imagine. Possibly Ermac, Rain, maybe Frost, Reptile. I'd say for sure we should definitely see Reptile. We could definitely for sure see Shiva, Goro, Motaro, the other four-armed dude whose name I can't think of right now. I mean, how long has it been since we've seen Motaro? You know what I mean? Like, since like the first game. I don't think he's been in anything other than the first game. I'd say it's time for him to come back. Kintaro, that was the other four-armed dude. There's lots of people who we could see. There's people from the 3D era, like I mentioned before, that I don't really know their names that we could see. We could see Fujin for sure. But people who, again, I don't think we'll see. We won't see Cassie Cage. We won't see Jacqueline Briggs. We won't see any of like the children, I don't believe, of characters. Because again, if this is going back to the beginning, they haven't been born yet. So, you know. We won't see any revenants as far as I know, because if nobody's dead, how can they essentially be a revenant? Which is kind of good because I didn't really like the whole revenants thing. It was just kind of a way to keep characters around that people liked. But yeah, so again, there's lots of things that in this trailer we don't know about, but we'll have to wait until either we get another trailer or until the game comes out in September. That's all I could think about right now. As I'm thinking about it. Oh, another thing. Before I just remember this, they focused a lot on duos in the trailer. You know, they showed Raiden and Kung Lao. They showed Melina and Katana. They showed Sub-Zero and Scorpion. Now, they all have past relationships. I get it. But they focused a lot on duos. Now, we have the combat system, or the cameo fighting system, yes. But we know that those characters aren't going to be cameo fighters. Those are going to be main characters, and main characters can't be used as cameo fighters. So it's interesting again that they're showing them as duos, and I'm pretty sure they're doing that because these relationships are going to be changed. As I mentioned before, Raiden and Kung Lao, their past relationship is that they were friends, that they were mentors, trainers. That Raiden essentially trained and tutored and mentored Kung Lao. Now they could be equals, and their relationship could be changing. As I mentioned before, there could be a bit of jealousy there, with Liu Kang being the trainer and the mentor, and you know they could be trying to each one of them could be trying to gain the upper advantage on the other person to be the favorite in Liu Kang's eyes, and that could create this tension between them, much like Melina and Katana. Now, jump into Melina and Katana. They could be happy sisters. I know Melina kind of gave that death stare at Katana, even though I felt like she was looking at me and peering into my soul. It could have been just for the trailer. It could have been that she wasn't even looking at Katana. And they made it look like she was looking at Katana, but she might not even been looking at Katana. There could have been somebody else in that wagon that we didn't see. Again, this is a CGI trailer, and as we know with Marvel, things can be very deceptive with CGI trailers. So I think their whole relationship could be different. The whole relationship, as we saw with Scorpion and Sub-Zero, could be different. They could be best friends. They even said something or work together as brothers. I don't believe they're going to make them related at all, because that would be just really kind of weird. I think they're going to have a strong friendship, if anything, a bond as brothers, and work together a lot. And it's all speculation, as I said before, and it's all up to debate. It's all up to opinions right now because nobody really knows what is going on with this game except for the creators. Now, there were some things in the Q&A that we were able to find out about. Like, for example, one thing, who is developing Mortal Kombat 1? It's interesting to note that for consoles, it's the oversight was by NetherRealm, and the NetherRealm team is developing PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X versions of the game. So it's next-gen, essentially, games only. But also, the QLOC is developing the Steam and Epic Game Store versions of the game. Shiver Entertainment and Saber Interactive are developing the Nintendo Switch version of the game. So those two types of games, the Epic and the Steam version and then the Nintendo Switch version, may look different, which is kind of good or bad. They may look better, they may look worse. I mean, the Switch is going to be whatever because the Switch is limited to like certain capabilities, but like as for PC should look better than anything. But me personally, I'm probably going to get this on a PlayStation 5 just because I have a PlayStation 5 for a reason, and I'm going to use it. As much as I love PC, I feel like console would be better for me for this game personally. Again, one thing we also found out through the Q&A, Mortal Kombat 1 will feature reimagined fighters like they've never been seen before, including Liu Kang, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Raiden, Kung Lao, Katana, Mileena, Shang Tsung, Johnny Cage, and many others. So they didn't necessarily confirm Sonya Blade, but if Johnny Cage is there, Sonya kind of has to be there. It does say that Shang Tsung is going to be a fighter, but that doesn't mean he's going to be a fighter in story mode. He will be a fighter most likely in the terms of you just go and fight another character or online modes. And it says that what type of modes will Mortal Kombat 1 have? NetherRealm's genre-defining story mode returns with a brand new cinematic narrative featuring unexpected twists on classic rivalries and original backstories for the wide-ranging cast of legendary fighters. More details for online and offline modes will be coming soon. Another thing that was interesting to note is that you do not need an internet connection to play this game. However, it will be required, of course, for online modes and for updates and for DLCs and all that other stuff. As I mentioned before, Ed Boon in a Twitch Q&A thing had this to say about the story.
So, a good question then. Why did we decide to go with Mortal Kombat 1?
Mortal Kombat 1, like I said, this is really at the beginning of a universe in a sense. And it is not a continuation of the Mortal Kombat 11 story. So, Luke, again, the characters have completely different roles in this new timeline. And we really wanted to kind of punctuate that and really emphasize that with our title. So this is Mortal Kombat 1. It is a brand new beginning. You're going to be seeing, like I said, these characters reintroduced in their new roles, new relationships with each other. And that's the main catalyst for calling it Mortal Kombat 1.
Which is really kind of interesting considering that this is all seems to be laid out following the events of Mortal Kombat 11, when Liu Kang essentially reset the timeline and remade everything in his own image, his own vision. Now, why he would make Shao Kahn and Shang Tsung and all these enemies and these villains again in his own image, I don't know. Maybe they're not there. Maybe that he put all the good guys in, and the good guys are, essentially because there's no bad guys, some of the good guys turn bad. I don't know. Maybe, as I mentioned before, that there are two worlds, two universes colliding together. One where it's all the good guys and the one where possibly it's all the bad guys. I don't know. We're going to have to wait for the game. But please, let me know your thoughts, your opinions, your comments down in the comments. Let me know what you think of this trailer. Let me know what you think Mortal Kombat 1 is going to be. Let me know it all. I want to hear your thoughts, your opinions down in the comments. It would mean a lot to me. If you made it this long in this video, thank you so much. And if you're new here, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and drop it a like. I would greatly appreciate that. With all that said and done, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Have a good one. And as always, don't forget to tip your DJ. Later, dudes.